Hey guys, in today's video I survived 100 days of Minecraft, but the catch is, it's all in an ice spikes only world. This is the hardest biome to survive in because it's only ice and snow. There are no trees, no animals, nothing. This video took so long to make, so if you don't mind, please subscribe. It really helps me out and it means so much. Also, I made a Discord server. If you want to join it, it's going to be in the description down below. But yeah, let's get into the video. Day 1, I spawn in and I began to look for a mine shaft. I find a cave and I began to look. Luckily, I find a mine shaft and I began to mine all the wood I can get. I craft my very first pickaxe and I get some stone. I then gather a bunch of iron and smelt it all. In the end, I was able to craft all of my iron tools. I continue to mine iron and smelt it, and on day 2, I gathered some string to make a bed. I get hit by a cave spider, which gives me poison, and I get to half a heart. I then leave the mine shaft pillaring up, and I begin to build the foundation of my house. Once I finish this, I begin to make my mine. I find another cave. I may have died, but whatever. I gathered some more iron and wood. Day 3, I got hit by another cave spider, bringing me down to half a heart. But it's okay, because when I got back up, I ate some raw flesh, and it healed me a little bit more. I gathered even more wood and smelted all of my iron, which allowed me to get all of my iron armor. I then began to mine for the rest of day 4, trying to get some diamonds, and I did. I gathered it, and was able to make my very first diamond pick. I continued to mine, and on day 5, I mined out a little spot to make my farm. I found some lava, which allowed me to gather a bunch of obsidian, and then I made another portal. I tried to make the entrance look a little fancy, and then I lit the portal, going in for the very first time. Once I got in, I began to look for some hoglins, which was a very good way for me to get food. Finally, I found a crimson forest, and I was able to get some wood. I almost died by a hoglin, but a piglin saved me, and was able to get me some food. And I ate something for the very first time. I killed some more piglins for food, and I was able to find a fortress somehow. I go in and I spend the next 2 days killing blazes for blaze rods. Once I get a lot, I kill some more hoglins and I find my way back home. Day 8, I begin to gather a bunch of snow and begin to build my house. I try to make it look like an igloo, but when I look back at it, it just, alright, let's try again. I fix it up a bit and alright, now it's good. There we go. Day 10, I fix up the roof. I try to add some details, but it just makes it look terrible. I tried to add a big window, but it just made it look like a cyclops. So I scrapped the idea and just added a simple entrance. I gathered some more wood and placed a door, finishing off the house. I spent the rest of the day just mining, and I was able to find some diamonds. Let's go. Day 12, I go to the nether and continue to trade with piglins, trying to get even more ender pearls. I mine some gold and continue to trade with piglins. And on day 13, I begin to look for a bastion. I can't find one, and then I do something stupid. I get shot by a ghast, and I fall into lava, losing all of my stuff. It's alright, I make some more armor and tools, and go back into the nether to trade with more piglins. I kill some more hoglins for food, and I mine on day 14, trying to find a bunch of gold. I go back to the nether, and again, trade with more piglins. But I also try to look for a bastion. Sadly, no luck. Day 16, I'm still looking, and I still can't find it, so I go back home. Day 17, I continue to mine, and I find some diamonds. I grab some gold, and spend the rest of the day expanding my farm. Day 18, I continue to mine and immediately find diamonds. I grab some more gold, and I find more diamonds. What's my luck? I smelt all my gold, and I go to the nether to trade with more piglins. Finally, I'm able to get some ender pearls, and I go back home. Day 19, I go mine, and immediately find diamonds. I continue to mine, and find more diamonds. I don't mine it because I want fortune, but I immediately find more. I don't know. And on day 20, I go back to the nether to try to trade with more piglins. I spend the next 2 days gathering gold and trading with piglins, trying to get all the ender pearls to go to the end. My luck is terrible, and on day 21, a piglin drops on me and kills me. It's okay, most of my stuff is saved, and I continue to trade, and finally, I was able to get all the ender pearls I need. I go back home and craft all of my Eye of Enders, and then I began to look for the stronghold. I spend the next 2 days trying to look for it, and finally, I found it. I spend the next 2 days trying to look for the portal room, but I can't. I find a library with insane books, and finally, I'm able to find the portal room. I place in all the eyes, but still need one more. So, I build another nether portal, and find my way back home. I begin to get ready to go to the end, getting some snowballs, and getting my last ender pearl. I make my last Eye of Ender, and I go to the end. Once I'm in, I use my snowballs to explode the pillars, and I begin to kill the dragon. I grab some dragon breath for no reason, and finally, on day 25, I'm able to kill the dragon. I gather up all of the dragon's XP, getting me to 63 levels, and I grab the dragon egg. I go back to the stronghold and grab some books from the library, and get about 2 stacks of books. I then gather a bunch of wood, and am able to make all of my bookshelves. I then make a second floor, and use it to place my full enchanting table. This allows me to finally enchant my pickaxe, trying to get fortune. I continue to try, and finally, I was able to get fortune. I enchant another pickaxe, getting unbreaking, and I combine the 2 pickaxes. With this, I mine all of the diamonds that I found, getting me to 30 diamonds, and I was able to make full diamond armor. I then celebrate by mining for all of day 27. I even got some diamonds. I used the rest of my XP to enchant all of my tools. And on day 28, I get some more wood, kill a bunch of hoglins for food, and I go to the second end dimension. I walk around trying to find an end city, and finally, I was able to find one. I kill a bunch of shulkers, loot the place. I almost get killed right here, but it's okay, I get my revenge. Once I leave, I immediately find another end city with a ship. My luck is insane. I bridge to the end ship, and am able to get my first ever elytra. Of course I loot the place, but then I begin to try to find my way home. Finally, I find a portal, and ender pearl my way back. Day 32, I grab some water and sugarcane, and begin to build my sugarcane farm. Day 33, I craft all of my items to make my enderman farm, and I go to the ends. Once I find the right spot, I build all the way down, and I bridge far away. Like, really far. And then I begin to build my enderman farm. Sadly though, I run out of materials and go back home. For the next 2 days, I get all the materials necessary to finish off the farm. Fly back to the farm and use all the items I got to complete it. I gather some ender pearls and begin to work on the killing chamber. I then use the ender pearls to try to make an endermite to spawn, and it actually did. I place it into a minecart, and I pushed it into the hole. But it was the wrong hole somehow, and the enderman killed it off, which was really sad. I then spent the next 3 days trying to make an endermite to spawn. It took so long, but finally, on day 39, an endermite spawned. I immediately named it and placed it into a minecart, and this time actually made sure it was the right hole. Once I destroyed all the blocks, the farm was ready. It was so satisfying. I went back home and expanded my sugarcane farm. I enchanted all of my armor and made some beds. With these beds, I began to go netherite mining. I was finally able to find my very first ancient debris, and I even found some more. In the end though, I was only able to get 3 ancient debris. I began to make my storage room, and it was basically done. I go back to the enderman farm and get more XP. Once I go back home, I begin to enchant a bunch of books, trying to get unbreaking. Finally, I was able to, and I place it on my elytra. Day 42, I go out and grab a bunch of snow. With this snow, I expand my base, making the entrance platform extremely big. Again on day 43, I get more snow, and continue to expand my platform. I expand my sugarcane farm to go with the platform. Again, I go out, gather more snow, and expand my base. After 3 days of building the base, I ran out of snow. I gave up for a bit and gathered a bunch of food. I then expanded my sugarcane farm even more. I went out to get more snow. And finally, on day 48, I was able to finish my base. Day 49, I began to work on a potato farm, and I placed my first ever potato. I began to bone meal the potato and expand the farm, and I spend the rest of the day trying to find a golden apple. Instead, I find a zombie villager. I don't kill it and immediately lead it back to my base. I push it up the ladders, and I box him up. Day 50, I go look for a golden apple, and finally, I was able to find one. I make some weakness potions, and I use it to convert my zombie villager into a villager. I try to keep myself busy and expand the sugarcane farm, and finally, the villager is cured. I then tried to turn the villager into a librarian, but couldn't, and then realized that green villagers can't change. Whatever, I go back to the nether and gather a bunch of magma blocks. Somehow I find an ancient debris. I don't know how, but I'll take it. I fill a full shulker box, but still need more, so I go out and gather more magma blocks. I almost fill up 2 shulker boxes, and on day 53, I gather a bunch of wood. Like, a bunch. I go back home, and go to get some obsidian. I make another portal in the overworld, and go to the nether ceiling by ender pearling up, and make another portal, trying to connect the two up. Sadly though, it didn't work. So, I just gave up on the idea and pearled back up to the ceiling, beginning to work on my gold farm. I begin to build the farm platform, and build a giant circle. It took a bunch of miscounts, but finally I finished the ring. I expanded it, and filled the 2 rings in. Day 57, I began to build a duplicate ring out of magma blocks. I then began to make 2 more magma block rings. I filled it all in, and did this for the last ring. Sadly though, I ran out of magma blocks and had to go get more. I finished off the ring, and began to work on the killing chamber. Once I finished the platform, I went back home to get all the items to finish the farm. Somehow though, when I tried to pearl through the ceiling, I just suffocated. It's alright though, all of my stuff is luckily safe, and I finished the farm. Finally, the farm was working. Once I shot a pigman, they all ran into this hole where I can kill them. I went back home, got a diamond sword, and was able to enchant it with Sweeping Edge, which was so helpful. I go back to the farm, and continue to kill some pigmen. After only a few minutes, I was able to get a bunch of gold. I realize I'm running out of diamonds, so for the next 2 days, I just mine. I gather a bunch of gold, and I go back home. I continue to get some gold, like a bunch, and I try to make a platform where piglins can spawn. Sadly though, the platform wasn't working, so I just went back home. I grab all of my gold and begin to trade with some piglins, trying to get a bunch of string. Once I get a few stacks of string, I craft my wool, and I go to destroy the platform. I try to build the piglin platform a little higher, maybe so that they can spawn, but still, it didn't work. I scrapped the idea and just began to trade with some piglins. With the string, I crafted a bunch of beds and began to go netherite mining. I somehow just mined into ancient debris, which was interesting. I was able to find some more ancient debris. And finally, I go back home. Day 71, I go back to the farm and get some more gold. The giant platform causes piglins to fall and almost kill me, and I destroy it all, just so this doesn't happen again. I grab the gold and smelt my ancient debris, which allowed me to get 4 netherite ingots. I go mining a bit more and find some diamonds, and use it to heal up my pickaxe. I continue to go mining and find even more diamonds, With this, I make another set of diamond armor, and I enchant it all. I combine all of my armor, and finally make my netherite armor. I go mining some more, and go to the stronghold to try to find another apple. I actually find a bunch, which I use to make some golden apples, and I began to look for a zombie villager. I actually found one and began to lead it towards my house. I dug it through the roof, I gave him his golden apple, and blocked him in. Day 74, I expanded my potato farm, and when I finished, the villager was healed. I then go back to the nether and try to trade with more piglins, which allowed me to get some string. I used this to make some beds, and then try to get my villagers out. I pushed them out using a railway system, and I began to work on their house. I pushed my villagers in, but annoyingly a creeper blew up a hole, and my villagers fell in. Somehow the villager didn't die, and I was able to get it to safety. I blocked off the hole, and finally was able to get the villager into his house. Finally, I finished off their house, and placed all their beds in. I gave them some potatoes to do some things. I wish I could unsee that, but look at him. Day 77, I killed some more pigmen, and I got a bunch of gold. And I turned the villager into a librarian. I spent the next 2 days trying to get him to sell mending, and finally on day 79, he actually was selling it. So, I immediately locked his trade, and bought a mending book. I placed it on my elytra, and I began to trade with some piglins. Day 80, I continued to trade with some villagers, and I added to their house. I went to the end dimension, and began to look for some more end cities. Finally, I was able to find one, somehow, two, actually. I'll take it. I was able to get my elytra, and loot the place. I went to the second city, and of course, I looted that too. Finally, I went back home, and on day 83, I expanded my sugarcane farm. I go back to the nether and kill more pigmen, grabbing all the gold to trade with the piglins, which allowed me to get some wool. I gathered some wood, and made all of my beds that I put in my villager house. And I went back to the stronghold library to get some more books. I used these to trade with the villagers and got a mending book, which I placed on my shoes. I spent the rest of the day just trying to get some emeralds for mending books. Finally, I placed mending on all of my armor. I breeded the villagers some more, and realized how many mobs there were, so I lit up the place. Again, I got some more mending books, and placed it on my sword, which I healed at the pigman farm. I made a brewing stand, and used it to make a cleric villager that sells rotten flesh, which is all I get from the pigman farm. I go and grab all of the rotten flesh that I have, and begin to trade it. I go back to the farm, and grab even more, and I traded it all. I got some more brewing stands, and made some more clerics, allowing me to get 3 more mending books. I placed it on all of my tools, and was finally able to heal them. I grab all my fire res potions, and I go to the nether fortress, trying to get some wither skeleton skulls. I begin to kill all of them, and while I was there I killed some blazes. But finally, I was able to get my first ever skull. Grabbed some nether wart, cause why not, and was able to get my second and third skulls, which was so lucky. I go back home, and on day 91, I spawn the Wither. I want to say the fight was easy, which it was, but I did die. So, yeah. It's alright. I grab all my stuff, and the nether star. I grab all my stuff for a beacon, but realize I don't have glass. Luckily, librarians sell glass, so I gather some sugarcane and trade with villagers. Finally, I got a glass trade and immediately bought it. And I was able to make my beacon. I then spent the next 3 days trying to get enough gold blocks to make a full beacon. Finally, on day 95, I was able to make all of the gold blocks, and began to make my beacon pyramid. I turned on haste, and it was working. I was able to insta-mine. I mined for the next 2 days. I was able to get some diamonds, so I'll take it. And I finally got a carrot, which was so good. I planted my first ever one down and began to grow it. Finally, I just destroyed all of the potatoes and replaced it with carrots, which allowed me to get my first ever golden carrots. I then gathered a bunch of raw flesh and used it to trade with the villagers, getting me to 3 stacks of emeralds, and I converted it into blocks, using it to make a throne around the beacon. I placed some diamonds and began to work on a firework system. And finally, it was complete. There we have it, 100 days of Minecraft. If you really enjoyed this video, hit that like button and comment below what I should do next. Also subscribe, it really helps me out and it means so much. But yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.